Hi guys, and welcome back to another one of my personal planner project videos. In the last one I set up most of my basic views that are going to be shown inside my root view. So if you missed that, I'll put a card up in the top right for you right now. So in this video I'm going to be creating an OK cancel dialog for responses where you want to confirm whether a user wants to do something or not. So that being said, let's hop into Visual Studio and get cracking. Right, so I'm in Visual Studio, and the first thing I'm going to do is set up the view model for my dialog box. So on the view models, I'm just going to add class. I'm going to call it 2-button dialog view model. I'm going to get rid of those, and I'm going to say this inherits from screen. There we go, it's included the using. And I'm going to create a couple, 4 constructors, okay? Because this screen, it's going to need to take in, it's going to have various parts. Example, if I were just to go into, say, I don't know, say, when like if you're in Word, you click cancel, there's like a save, don't save, cancel, blah blah blah. It's kind of the same idea. So you've got a title, you've got a um, you've got a message, and then you've got like an OK and a cancel, or a yes and a no. So the idea is that because those 2 buttons for text, I might want them to be different, but I want the same structure. I'm just going to create this rather than an OK cancel dialog view model. So the best way for me to do this is just to create 4 constructors. Okay, eventually end up passing in these values. So we're going to want a string with title, string for the message, string for button 1 txt, just button 1, string 2, string button 2. Okay, so then this is where we're going to set our values that are our properties. All right. So if I quickly just create a constructor, and then we're going to pass in string message. So if you just want to pass in a message, you don't want a title, then you can do that, and this will just output to it will output a new 2-button view model that takes in no title, message, OK, and cancel. That's what I'm going to have as my default values. Then I'm going to copy that another 2 times. So this one is going to take in a title for the message, so string title, and it's going to pass the title into there. But I'll also get rid of that, and then copy that down. And this one will also take button 1, string button 1, and this is going to take in button 1. Right, so now what I'm also going to want to do is I'm going to want to set up my properties. So prop full is going to be a string. First one is going to be my title. There we go. Then, so that's the first one. So I just want the title. And then I'm going to default it to, in fact, I don't need to default it because no matter what, it will have a default here because it will get given a title because this here. So let's close that. Let's create another prop full. It'll be string underscore message with a lowercase m. Message. Close that. Move this private one up top. What happened there? Close the gap between them. Prop full. And then this is going to be our string button lowercase button 1 text. T there. Button 1 text. Wonderful. And then finally, prop full string button underscore button 2 capital text. Button 2 text. There we go. So let's just move this private one up to the top. Just keep all our private ones together. All our properties together. And just close them down. So now, what I'm going to want to do is, I'm just going to say title equals title, message equals message, button 1 text is equal to button 1, button 2 text equals button 2. So, I'm just going to rename that. Rename. So I'm actually going to name that OK. OK button text. And this is OK. Just get rid of that. OK. And then rename this button 1. Oh, sorry. OK button text. Fine. And this one will be the same idea, so this will be cancel button text. And then this one will be cancel button text. Because really, this is my OK. Do not need that. Because really, this is my OK button. It's going to return the, yeah, everything's good. We want this to happen. So it's like our positive result and our negative result. So OK and cancel would generally be positive and negative. So that being said, that's all the code that I need to do for here for the time being. I will need to add in the function, like the methods for if you cancel or not. In fact, I can actually do that now. Though no, because I will need to have my view model, my views, so I know what I've named things. I mean, the title and message that they are purely going to be that's what they're going to be called. I'll probably just call it OK and cancel these buttons. So in fact, I will actually just call it public void OK and just say try close true. I'll just make this a one-liner. It doesn't need to be on multiple lines. Probably not best practice, but I always just, for me, it makes my code a lot nicer for me to look at. Especially if it's literally just one function. It's a short one. And then public void cancel try close with false. There we go. So now that should be my view model completely done. So if I now go into my views, add a window, because this one will be a window, because it's going to open up in its own screen, and I'm just going to call this 2-button dialog view. Add. And then what I will do, just so I can get the same feel, is for the view, I'm actually going to go to my login view and copy this top code here up to there, I think. Yes. And that was up to, where did I copy up to? Up to the title, the height and the width. So title, height and width, just there. If I paste that in, and then also add in um, the schema, so XML and S for the material design equals that one, voila. And then I also just need to close off the card and close off the border. There we go. So I'm not sure how big I'm going to want this. So if I actually set this to 100%, that'll be how big it actually appears. So let me quickly change the size of it. So I probably want it like that, a bit shorter maybe. Yeah, so I can have my buttons there and my message there, title there. That is looking wonderful. So let's change these values so they're more specific. So 300 by 550. Sweet. So what I am going to do is I'm also going to have to go into the backend code of my login view as well. Just grab this function here. Pop that there. Voila. So I can get rid. There we go. Yeah, I can get rid of that now. So, cool. Now what I can do is I can add in my actual code. So I'm going to get rid of this padding here, because what I'm actually going to do is inside this grid, I'm going to do my grid.row configures, my row definitions, and grid.column definitions. So what rows am I going to need? I'm going to need one for the title, one for the content, and then one for the buttons. So I'm going to have, let's change this so it's just easier for you to view. Right. So column definitions. So we're going to need no, row even. Row. So we're going to have the top row. What does 50 pixels look? if I get the others in, row, and this one is going to contain most of the space, and row. This is going to probably be, I'm going to say about 75, maybe. Yeah, I like the size thing. So the title in there, the buttons in there, the content inside of there. Neat. What I'm also going to need is I'm going to need columns to put in my buttons. So I'm going to have column. This one's going to be the space that comes before my buttons. So it's going to be this kind of space. And then I'm going to have a set size for these columns. So I'm actually going to make them probably about 100. I'll see what these look like when I've actually done the buttons, but they should be cool for now. At least just so we can, just so they're there. Right, so next thing, let's create the text block. X name is equal to title. Then to the grid dot row is equal to 0. Grid dot row span is going to be equal to the whole thing. So I think I had no, it's actually going to be 1. Anyway, grid dot columns grid dot column is equal to 0, and my grid dot column span set that equal to 3. How does that? So 1, 2, 3. There we go. Also going to set just so I can actually see what this is going to look like. Text equals howdy, just as fill-in text, just so I can line this correctly. I'm going to have vertical alignment equals center. I'm going to add some padding. Some padding to the left side, just so it isn't sitting right on the edge. So let's say 50, 0, 0, 0, 0. Just that. Probably be a bit much actually. So let's change it to 25. Maybe it's still too much. 15. Yeah, that's looking sweet. So I can get rid of that text there. It says exactly how I want it. In fact, no, I actually want to change the font color. So foreground equals, let's see if there's one for material. Um, let's just set it to, let's just set it to maybe 3. Yeah. Then it doesn't stand out too much, but you can still read it. Let's also change the font size, because again, that isn't particularly important, so you don't want to draw too much attention to it. So I'm going to say, let it be a size 16. Yeah. Now that also shows me that this doesn't have to be quite so big. So let's set this to maybe 35. Yeah, wonderful. So, next thing, let's just close this, take out that text of howdy. Set it equal to title. And then next up, if I just collapse that and collapse my row definition, let's just say text block X name is equal to message. Again, let's just set some default text. Grid.row is equal to 1. Grid.column is equal to 0. Grid.column span is equal to 3. We're going to have the vertical alignment to be centered, and then some padding on the left. We're going to stick to this. I might also set the horizontal padding, horizontal alignments to be center as well, because then the text that's inside of it will be. Oh, I need to close that tag. So it will be directly in the middle. I'm not going to change the size of that text, just because I think it looks right as it is. And I'm also going to say that the isn't you can text align. Yeah, text align is the center. So what that means is it will just center the text. So yeah, center. Wonderful. Let's close that. Now I just need to make my buttons. Button. Now this is where the naming is going to be. So equals OK. I'm also going to cancel. Wonderful. So this is going to go in grid.row equal to grid.column is equal to 1. I'm also going to set its style in this top one, I think. Style equals dynamic resource. And I'm going to want it to be a first of all dark. Make it a raised dark button. And I'm also going to set, in fact, I'll do this in the next line. The background equal to the dynamic resource design dark background. I'm going to set a border brush to be red, and the border thickness is equal to and then for the text, I'm actually going to be doing something new that I haven't done yet with you on this channel, or in this series. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that the text equals content equals binding to cancel button text. And then what will happen is at runtime, this will just fill with whatever the text is that's in here, because it's binding it to this property. And then in this, OK, we're actually going to copy all of this stuff, including that, just 'cause it's all the same. I will have to change some of the data, but by and large it's the same. So I want this to be in the next column along, and it's just going to say OK. Let's also add some padding to either side of these. So let's put that here. Padding. In fact, no, not padding. I'm going to want to add a margin. Margin equals 5, 0. And it's the same for this other one. And how does that look? Right, well, the first thing I've realised is this needs to have, um, um, these are going to have a margin on, a bigger margin on the right there. Um, so what I will do is I'll just actually add in um, an extra row and an extra column. In fact, no, just an extra column, just to add that padding in. So column, and I'm just going to make it maybe 50. That's a bit too much. 25. Yeah, I think that looks good. Um, yeah, for sure. Um, so now what I can do is this is all done here and here. So what I should be able to do is just go into my login view model, and when they try to cancel, I will actually see if they want to. So I can say var r equals new to Dialog view model, passing in are you sure you want to quit? Um, close, quit. So that's my title, that's my message. Yes and no. Dot result. No. So this is going to be equals window manager dot show dialog. Going to pass in this dialog view model, and then whatever response it gets will be a bool. So in fact, this is actually going to respond with a nullable bool or a nullable. So then if r if r is equal to true, then do this. Else, so now when I run this, it should all start up as normal. Right. For some reason that didn't actually change the variable. It's annoying. Shouldn't be any more issues. Because I thought I refactored that. Apparently I just changed the text. As everything loaded up as normal, I click cancel. Are you sure you want to quit? Yes. Wonderful. If I now run that again, cancel. As you can see, I've got my quit up here. Are you sure you want to quit? I'm going to change that to a question mark, just because it makes more sense. And click no, and it takes me back to here. And the reason that I wanted to do this was just because it makes it a lot more uniform. Because you're always going to want your program just to be standard. You're going to want to keep it uniform. So yes, wonderful. One thing that I do want to do though is I actually want to change this. So I actually want to change this to my accent. Is it an accent color? Protection to access brush. No. I feel like there should be an accent color. Um, no? Well, I suppose I'll just keep it to red. Yeah, see, I thought that it would allow you to just access that. Apparently not. Um, so let's just run this again. Just make sure that everything is still working as normal. Uh, Sign in. There we go. Still allows me to sign in. And I'm also going to have to add that probably the same little bit of code just to see whether we can sign out. Because otherwise it will just sign out. Let's close that then. And now, now we know that definitely works. Login view model, that works. Let's just add that tiny bit of code into my root view model. And if they want to sign out, then I will actually just quickly go back into this. No, not that. My login view model and get this same. So this, if R is not equal to true, so if it's equal to true, then do this following code. Um, yeah, sweet. Um, I'm also just going to change this to maybe, I know what I'll do is I'll just actually pop this inside of, yeah, get rid of that. There we go. It's not as neat, but because it only has one purpose, there's no point actually making that a variable. It's just taking up space, like memory. So I will actually just copy this here. Bam, bam. And voila, that is it for today. Because I'm fairly certain, how long has this been going? See, maybe it doesn't say it. But I'm fairly certain that's it for this video. Um, so I hope you enjoyed that. Or if not enjoyed, certainly learn maybe how to do that, how to create this page. Because the first time that I gave it a go, it took me ages to work out how to do it. But it's really simple. Um, this one I might change this so this stands out, so it's like your default button that you're going to gravitate towards. So you sure you want to cancel? Yeah, okay. Um, so I may say you sure you want to quit? Yes. Um, Though I will actually in my sign out say, are you sure you want to sign out? Yes and no. Wonderful. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button. And if you wouldn't mind, maybe think about subscribing and hitting the notification bell to keep up to date on my uploads. So until next time, see you later.